Hello everyone, welcome to Digital Artifacts YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to create this particles to text title animation in Adobe After Effects. You will need the plugin Trapcode Form for this. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and we're going to jump right into the tutorial. So we're going to start by creating a new project. So I'm just going to go to File, New Project, and then we're going to click on New Composition. We're going to set this at 1280 by 720 aspect ratio square pixels, and we're going to make this a 3-second duration. And then I'm just going to rename my composition. And then click OK. Now the first thing we're going to do is create our text. So I'm going to go to the text tool. And then from there I'm just going to click inside the composition, and I'm going to type out the text that I want for my title. So I'm just going to type 10% off. And then once I'm done typing my text out, I'm going to switch back to the selection tool so that I can reposition the text. So I'm going to switch to my selection tool, and I'm just going to reposition this to the center of the composition. And then the next thing I'm going to do is pre-compose. So I'm just going to control right click and select pre-compose and just name this text. And then just keep all the attributes, which we only have one. So just go ahead and click OK. And then now we're going to create a new layer. So I'm just going to go to Layer, New, Solid. And this is going to be the background layer. The settings are going to remain the same, and I'm going to choose a black background. And then I'm just going to move my layer below the text layer so that the text shows above the background. Now we're going to go to Layer, New, Solid to create our form layer. And then same settings and click OK. And then go to Effect, Trapcode Form. And then before we change the form settings, we're going to add one more layer, a camera layer. So we're just going to go to Layer, New, Camera. And I'm just going to select the preset 35mm and click OK. And then I'm just going to move my text layer below the camera. And now we're ready to go back to the form layer. We're going to change some of the settings here. So the first thing we're going to change, we're going to go under Layer Maps, and then go under Color and Alpha. And then under Layer, we are going to select our text composition that we created. And then we're going to select RGBA to RGBA. And then we're going to go map over XY. So as you can see, when we select that, now our text shows up in our form layer. So now we can unhide our text layer. And now obviously it's not looking good right now, so we need to go under particle and change some of, go under base form and change some of the settings here. So we're going to go to XYZ individual, and we're going to change it to our composition settings. So under size X, we're going to select 1280, and size Y 720, and then Z space we're going to bring down to 1. And then we're going to do the same thing for particles in X, and particles in Y, and particles in Z. And now you can see it's already looking a little bit better. And then under particle, we're going to bring the size down to 1. Now the next thing we're going to do is animate the text using the camera. There's a couple different ways you can animate the text. I'm just going to use the camera layer for this. So we're going to come under here to our camera layer, select that, and then click the drop down and go under transform, and then we're going to select point of interest, making sure that the time ruler is at the beginning of the time graph area, and we're going to bring up the point of interest to 2200. So the next thing we're going to do is drag the time ruler all the way to the end of the time frame, so which would be 3 seconds, and then we're going to reposition the point of interest to 630, and as you can see, that brings the text to the center. So now you can see that just creates a simple animation for the text. So I'm actually going to go back to my camera layer under the drop down, and I'm just going to readjust the point of interest at the beginning of the time graph. So I'm going to make sure my time ruler is at the beginning of the time frame. And I'm just going to be changing the start point of interest so that the text appears sooner in the time frame, because as you can see, as I move the time ruler, the text is yet to appear. So what I'm going to do is bring this down to 2000. Okay, and let's see how that looks. Let me try 1900. So I just want to adjust it one more time. I'm going to bring it up to 2100, and that should be a perfect start point for our text animation. Okay, so now we're ready to go under Disperse and Twist under our form settings, which is under our form layer. And we're going to change some of the settings under Disperse and Twist. So I'm just going to move the time ruler forward so we can see part of the text. And I'm going to bring the Disperse up to 50. So the next thing we're going to do is animate our Disperse settings. So with the time ruler about 10 frames in, we are going to select the stopwatch under Disperse. So I'm just going to place my time ruler, and then I'm going to click the stopwatch, and then I'm going to drag my time ruler all the way to the end of the time frame, or actually a little bit before the end, so about 2 seconds, and then I'm going to bring the Disperse down to 40, and then I'm going to move my time ruler forward another frame or two, and then I'm going to bring Disperse down to 35, and then I'm going to move the time ruler all the way to the end, and I'm going to bring that down to 2. And then we're going to select Disperse Strength over X, and then under Preset, I'm just going to choose this preset here, and then I'm just going to move my time ruler to the beginning of the time graph area, and I'm going to click the stopwatch under Disperse Strength. And then I'm going to move my time ruler towards the end of the time graph area. And I'm going to select that preset one more time. The next thing we're going to do is go under Fractal Field, and we're going to adjust some of these settings under the Displace option. And we're actually going to bring that up to 250. And then we're going to go back under Displace and Twist, and just make sure your Disperse Strength offset is set at 100. And now we're ready to animate our Displace setting. So let's just make sure our time ruler is at the beginning of the time graph area, and we're going to click the stopwatch under Displace. And then we're going to drag our time ruler to a little over 2 seconds, and we're going to bring it down to 200. And then just move the time ruler forward a little bit, and we're going to bring this down to 150. And then I'm going to move the time ruler all the way to the end of the time graph area, and I'm going to bring it down to 2. And you can play around with the settings to get the animation that you want by creating these keyframes. So we're just going to change one more setting under Particle, and then we will be finished with the form settings. So we're going to go under Particle, and I'm going to change the opacity. So we're going to select opacity curve, and we're going to select the same preset that we select for the other option. And as you can see, after changing it, it already gives it more of a gradient effect, and it blends better with the composition. And we're just going to add one more effect under Effects and Presets. So I just need to go to my window and make sure my effects and presets are selected. And then I'm just going to search Glow. And I'm going to drag the glow effect into the form layer. And as you can see, that just brightens up the particles. And that's it. Now that you know how to create keyframes and adjust the particle settings and text, you can create some really cool particle to text animation and kind of make it your own. The last thing we need to do is just export our footage. So you can do that using Media Encoder, or you can use the render queue. So you can simply use the render queue and just click there, or you can go to File, Export, Add to Render Queue, and then just drag the composition that you created into the render queue. And under Output Module, you can save it under QuickTime, or here you can go to File, Export, Add to Render Queue, and then just select Output Module and make sure the format is QuickTime or whatever format that you want, and click OK and select Render. And that's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.